187. Rich is back in black, in the black t-shirt. Right?
Yeah, practical that I wore black.
Yeah, tonight we are both wearing black. Hey, it's cool to have you back. We have done quite a few episodes a year ago, and you are working now for another company, which is also cool. Can we name it?
It's not a trade secret.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can name it.
I can name it. Well, it's Adam Hall, and Adam Hall is a company that has is the opposite of BluGuitar. BluGuitar has only a few products and a few people, and Adam Hall is kind of, how many products do they have?
Oh, hundreds.
Hundreds.
I think in the last year they got 350 new products. So it's
only
like,
in your segment, because I heard.
No, in the whole thing.
Okay. So many people. How many people work there?
Again, about 350.
350
Yeah,
people.
and it's always getting bigger. So yeah.
Okay. So, and we are about 3.5. But anyway, it's all good. It's all cool. And as you can see, we've always been in contact, whatever. Last NAMM, when you already worked for them, we met at your booth over there, and then you came downstairs and, we hang same as ever. And Rich, to me, is somebody who comes from a different side of things, in the way of, he's probably not the guy that buys all the most expensive boutique pedals like myself. You are more the kind of, maybe I get a great tone out of cheaper stuff.
Yeah, sometimes.
And so we had a few discussions about, what's new, what pedals are new, and we came up with the idea of having this episode named Boutique Pedals versus Cheap Copies, the Holy Grail, or just a waste of money. And this is what we will find out about a few classic pedals and styles that maybe everybody used, like red pedals, like tube screamers and more. And we will have some discussions about backgrounds that makes it possible to get cheaper pedals, if this is okay, and stuff like that. But before we dive into our pedal segment, I want to tell you about my last weekend trip to Warsaw, which is Poland, and it was interesting. I have been there to do a demo at Riff Megastore, a music shop in Warsaw, for vintage. The guys that I have 2 signature models with, and it felt really good to see real people that have waiting for me for before COVID. They planned to do that kind of clinic with me even before COVID, and now, like 3 years later, finally it happened. And
oh wow! So those guys were waiting a long time.
Yeah. And it was great. I had a positive response, and what's good for me again was, there's the thing about having a live stream like we are doing right now. It's the best we can do from being at home with all the sound systems, and we try our best. But everybody told me, we have been watching your live stream, but coming to the clinic was a totally different physical experience, because you are in the same room, everything is way louder. I was using a 4x12 Marshall. But at low volume. But still, you are in the same room, and it's physically, it feels different. And I could feel it too. I mean, we are fine here, but being in front of 50 people is different, like in front of Lucas. Yeah. There's a little tiny video that shows what happens when you go to Warsaw. You have to get up by 5 in the morning, ride to the Frankfurt airport, be there by 7-ish, and then go to the plane, LOT Airlines, smaller plane, and then you go to the with the bus and stuff like that. Just watch the video, it was funny. Fuck. Well, and this is my hotel room. Look at this. And how many pillows? Ready.
Okay, so we can start.
Hello. Yep, that was Warsaw, and I was happy that I wasn't caught in the snowstorm that was happening at the same time in Munich.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah, at the same time in Munich, nothing was working anymore. There was no airport, there was even no trains, and they had just too much snow, and we had nothing. We just had a cold day, and the day Sunday when I returned, everything was sunny even, so it was nice. Yeah, for you guys, you can give us your favorite pedals in the comments, so we can see what's hot for you. Of course, we prepared something that we think it's worth talking about, but we know there's so many, and maybe we can see what is on your list and maybe see what we prioritize, or let's see. So for the beginning, I thought we have something classic, which you have a lot of pedals, and I actually just have the boutique old original.
Yeah, the original. Is the old one boutique? Does it count as boutique, or is it vintage?
I think
That's a question that we should also get to.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Hey guys, the only thing I know we can see in the overhead camera here, it's the one that I've been told that this is like the old Rat. I bought this in the early 90s, probably when it came out.
Yeah.
Got it since then and forgot about, well, there was no alternative. There was just that pedal. You know, this is the Rat that existed.
Yeah, that was the Rat. If you
Yeah.
wanted a Rat, that was it.
Yeah, so I bought that Rat, and here it is. And of course, I never had the need for anything else because it sounds good.
So what were you using the Rat for, by the way? Because the way I know the Rat and the way I often use the Rat is for the kind of the chordal work that I do, or just really heavy, thick walls of sound. How does it fit into your repertoire?
Kind of the same thing. I used it as a gainier overdrive. You know what? I switched over to my Strat because this is what I always played, especially when I bought my Rat. So now comes the surprise if that guitar is still in tune after a week. Hey, 61 Strat. I didn't touch it since last week. Okay, the pot is not fine, but hey. Wow. Okay. That's the beauty of old vintage guitars. The older they get, the more they stay in tune. Why? Because nothing moves anymore. It's not the rustiness. No, it's because the wood and anything temperature doesn't affect the tuning on that guitar anymore. It's great. I can play with this like by freezing or hot, and the guitar is still pretty much in the same tuning. Mm-hmm. And if you have a newer guitar, there's a lot of fine tuning that you have to do.
Yeah.
So let's get into the Rat. This is the input that goes onto your side, right?
No, that goes.
Wait a minute. I
Wait.
think that's the output.
This one needs to go into the amp, and
Yeah.
your guitar needs to go into the front end of the Rat.
Ah,
pedal.
okay. And you got my guitar that
Yeah.
goes into here now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We did plan this meticulously before.
Well, we spent hours.
this is the beauty of live
Yeah.
live radio.
Yeah. Well, so, and see, what I have done is I didn't even change the knob since I used it the last time. So I guess this is exactly what I have done with my Rat. What's going on?
I'm just reading the comments.
Yeah.
Brad mentions the MOOER Black Secret, which is a Rat which is not on the board, but I do have one over there. So let's bring that as well, just in case.
Okay, then
That is also good.
in the meantime, I can.
Yeah, you show off what you would do with a Rat.
Okay, I just have the settings that are on my Rat since I used it the last time. It's maybe 10, 12, 15 years ago. Who knows? And I simply switch it on and see what happens. So that's the clean amp 1 with like nothing. I put it in the center so this should. Okay, that's the tube screamer, right?
I'm just showing that off for somebody else who is asking for that. It's coming.
Okay. Hey guys, we have tons of pedals. We are surrounded, and we are almost distracted. And if we put our feet somewhere, we definitely kill one of those pedals.
Yeah.
So this was the setting that I didn't change. I just changed the amp setting to like this, to be a little thicker.
Yeah.
But this is like so. And now that's my Rat. So this was my setting, but I also know there's people that use the Rat as a completely different thing, like lower gain in front of a gainy pedal, because this is like in front of the clean amp. I switched to the vintage channel. I think Nuno Bettencourt was doing that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like the tight, everybody's holy secret, how to tighten up a chuggy chug sound. So I go to the vintage channel.
Yeah.
Sorry for the hum. This has a very old power supply with a 1990s whatever, and with all the pedals, it's a bit noisy. But anyway, so this is how that sounds. Clean. The Rat just as a Titan boost, and then now I go to the vintage channel. Yeah, it gives you a little bit of that chuck for hair metal.
Yeah.
I could optimize the sound. Let me show you. Just now with that idea, let me dial something in that I think. Okay, that's something other people would do with that pedal.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that I really like about the Rat. It can actually, it's just got the 3 knobs, but it can do so many different things. Because if you wind it all the way up as well, it sort of starts to explode into itself and it turns into a fuzz.
Yeah, let's show you this. So this was the lowest gain setting. There's one thing that I don't like that much. It doesn't clean up like I'm used to have sounds that clean up. But hey, it's a super thick and rich tone. Okay. Now, what about some A/Bing?
Yeah.
The question is on what kind of setting?
Yeah, exactly. I would say we should use your favorite setting or the one that you had before. And I actually dialed in the next pedal here, which is the standard modern day Proco Rat 2.
Okay.
And what we can do is A/B them and see how close they sound or how different they sound.
Okay. So I'm going back to my clean sound. And I would call this my clean sound, okay? So, double check. Shall we have the same settings on both?
Yeah, okay. So for anybody who wants Thomas's settings, the volume is at about 2 o'clock. The filter is at about 10 or 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And that's one weird thing about Rats, by the way. The filter knob is the wrong way around compared to traditional pedals.
Yeah.
And the distortion is at about 3 o'clock, 3:30 maybe?
Yeah, it's kind of towards maximum, but not all the way up.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's... I think we have to get a little bit more output volume to be fair.
Yeah.
I have a comment. My comment is the vintage Rat is sounding a bit more open and actually not as it has more definition. Do you share that opinion, or do you whatever? I don't want to. You heard it.
I don't know. Yeah, what do you guys think at home?
Yeah.
Do they sound the same? Do they sound different? Which one sounds better? For me, if I close my eyes and if you confuse me long enough by switching between them, I probably couldn't tell. But I don't have your ears. Yeah. And your ears are kind of in that kind of 1% of special ears category.
Of course, I'm doing this like for decades. A/B. I show you something like. Yeah. That has more a vocal quality, you know, it starts to sing.
Okay, to my ears, I would say that maybe this one has like 2% more of a kind of a thickness to it.
Yeah, a mid-range thickness. And of course, I'm playing with that kind of thing, and I'm always looking for that quality.
Yeah.
That's my criteria, because once you got that, the pedal can always do power chords and other things easily, like. So there's to me that kind of voice has a little bit more Freddie Mercury.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No.
If you like that, I mean, it's a matter of taste.
Yeah. That also.
But for me, I have a clear favorite, knowing it's just 1% difference.
Yeah. So let's go back to the question that you asked at the beginning of the show, which is, this one is probably going to cost you, if you can find one online, like maybe $200-300 or something like that, because prices are crazy. These ones are about €100 now, I think, in our area. Is this one worth the money?
For me, yes.
This is not a clone, of course, because it is the same company. It's Proco building these still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I would pay the extra money because I learned when I have a pedal that I really actually use, and I want that. I buy a pedal because I use it. If I buy pedals and I don't use them, they are not worth any money for me in the end. So, and if it's the best one for me, the chances are higher that I really use it.
Yeah.
So my philosophy is like less pedals with more quality.
Yeah.
And that has been paying off in a nice way in my life, but that's my philosophy.
Yeah.
And therefore, I don't mind to spend a bit more, unless it's crazy money. We will have to
Like
clone
an original clone. Yeah. Okay.
We have that topic is coming up.
Yeah.
Probably next.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. And I have a bunch of rats. I think these are all mine. These ones here,
And maybe we can check out your pedals, and sometimes the cheaper ones can even get closer to the original old ones.
well, who knows?
Who knows?
We might find that out. But what I was going to say is that I would also have one of these. When I find one, I will take one, because I think in the name of completeness, I would need it. But the thing about this one is the old one.
Yeah.
It's made in America. This one's made in China. I don't think that makes a difference. But this one has a chip in it.
Yeah.
Called the LM308, which has become like a mythical and iconic and special chip that makes you sound better.
Yeah.
And we're going to move across now to this one here,
Yeah.
which is a modern boutique clone of the Rat. This is the Grail Amps Guerrilla Warfare.
Oh yeah.
And this contains
the
an
original
LM308 chip. So it might sound even closer. It might sing like Freddie Mercury.
Okay, let's find out.
Let's try it out.
Okay.
I'll set it to the same settings, and I think that on this one,
Yeah.
they made the tone knob go the right way, so I might have to fiddle with it a bit. but
Okay.
Yeah, let's
Output volume.
the volume's up here, yeah?
Okay, everything is.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I can simply play some
Yeah, you
line.
play.
It's like, I can immediately tell that they have similar qualities.
Yeah, okay.
This has the vocal quality, so the mystical chip is.
You think there's magic in the chip, huh?
Yeah.
What do you guys at home think?
Any comments in the chat? As long as it's cool, it only costs twice as much. You're buying it, okay? Well, My pedals are bullshit. Hey, in the meantime, let's try. So, next we have so many pedals. We have
Yeah, what some of the guys are also saying is that the tolerances of some of the parts used to make, especially the vintage pedals, they're kind
Yeah.
of, they're not always the same. There can be a 15-20% tolerance difference.
sure.
So if we tweak the knobs, we could get them to sound a bit closer, but
Yeah, but I can tell that the character of these two
is more similar.
it's more similar.
Yeah.
It's pretty damn close. I wouldn't, if I only had that one, I don't need that one.
Okay.
It's doing what I would love the pedal to do.
Yeah, okay. So the next one across is the TC Electronic Magus Pro. And this is about 50, 60, 70 bucks. So cheap one, a clone.
Yeah.
And this has 3 different Rat models in it. A fat Rat, a classic Rat, which I think is
This
one,
one?
and a turbo Rat. So,
Yeah, I remember the turbo Rat.
so
Okay,
we can check
let's
that
see.
one out. Got the settings similar.
See, that's a lesson that I also learned is it's okay to start with the same knob settings, but I trust my ears more than anything visual.
Yeah.
And of course, that's my job for many years. I tell you what it is because the pots itself have the most tolerance. If you have a resistor on the PCB inside, it has like 5%, 1%, like very little. A pot has 20%. So it's very easy that you don't find this exactly same tone with the same settings. You can get closer by just adjusting the knobs a little bit and finding what you think is missing. Like I was missing a touch of the high end, so I had to dial in the tone or whatever it's called, filter. It's called filter, yeah, because all Rats have filters, not tone. And then the other thing is I was missing a touch of volume, and that's a very important thing when you A/B anything. Volume needs to be 1-to-1. Any dB more is cheating. For the one that is louder is the better.
Yeah.
That's simply our ears, our psychology. Who screams wins. I hate it, but it's the truth.
So what do you think of the Magus Pro
Good.
tone-wise?
Well,
Good.
Yeah. I can. And what I like about it, it's a rather small footprint. Like it's not too big, and it does the job. I'm curious just to check out how the other modes sound. Can you?
Yeah.
This is the weird pedal.
It's got the weird
Okay,
switch. Yeah.
that's something I have to complain about because I can hit the switch and it doesn't change the sound. Only when I release the switch, it does it.
Yeah. This is something that takes a bit of getting used to for sure, and it's something that I called out in my video, which I made on my own
yeah.
YouTube about this pedal. They have a couple of other pedals in this size. One is actually a clone,
Yeah.
which we don't have with us today, and that has the same thing. And
Yeah.
you get used to it, but it's kind of strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially I don't see the need on that pedal here because sometimes if you want to have extra functionality, which maybe is in there, maybe not, but I don't see it here with this pedal. You have the switching like when you release the foot, because then you have another message. You can kind of measure the time from switching to release,
Yeah.
and use that as the long press or something like that.
Yeah.
And therefore, sometimes you have to do stuff like that, but I don't see any need for that because this is just the standard bypass or on switch, and that should be done the standard way. Okay. How does the whatever turbo and other settings sound just for
Yeah.
fun? Yeah. You know what? Let's get rid of this power supply here because that's the hum. Yeah, we go back for the hum when we need this as an AB.
Yeah, okay.
So that is, or that was the Magus, right?
Magus Pro, yeah.
So what is the Wampler RATsbane?
That is another rat clone, another, I guess you call it a boutique one, made in America, so it's more expensive, 150, 160 bucks. And what I remember about this one is it has a couple of little switches, it has different modes, like there's a different distortion in there compared to the Rat, and it has a lot of headroom, I remember that. So
Just give it a listen.
let's hear it.
Aha, here is the cleaning up kind of thing.
Yeah.
Can you get that on the Gorilla? Okay, I know what it is. It is like the amount of high end before saturation is very low here and is the highest on this one. Is there a switch for like anything like what are the switches doing? Is there like a what happens on this left switch?
That gives you gain boosts. Let's just switch
okay.
them and see. Like a low end boost.
Yeah. I think what he has done is like this is a mid boost, and this is a mid boost. This is kind of the original setting. Forget about this. That would be the next reference. I have a little bit too much high end of that. Can you? This goes also the other way around.
Yeah.
So let's put that in the middle. Yeah, and voice, what is voice doing?
That's a different kind of distortion, they said, I remember. Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of what I heard from the turbo here.
Yeah. And the turbo gives you a massive volume boost, and
Yeah.
I think it's less saturated as well, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a totally different pedal. As someone
Well, they use
mentioned
probably
in the comments.
different clipping diodes or different clipping stages.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and the very last one we have is a Harley Benton, which costs 20 euros new. Let's hear how good it is.
Okay, be prepared for the worst. I like it. I mean, it's 1 dB too loud. We have to be fair. Okay,
Yeah.
now again. I go for the Harley Benton actually.
For $20, it's not too bad, is it? And it's got 2 different modes as well.
Yeah, I don't need the
Normal,
modes.
turbo, and solo mode.
I
Yep.
tell you one thing about that toggle switch here that lives in a real life situation. In my life, maybe it lives for a week, because if you see a blue box, okay, here comes the amp manufacturer. The toggle switch on a blue box is like that tall only. It tries to be as short as possible. Looking at that toggle switch, if you have your foot somewhere here, it takes a week and it's gone. But the pedal is killer. You can modify it, just cut that switch. Don't hurt yourself, but that would be my recommendation.
You can see from this MOOER pedal here,
That's the same.
that's about 40 or 50 bucks, I think, and you can see that the extra money has gone into making the switch.
See?
Just a little bit shorter, but otherwise, if you look at those together,
Yeah.
we have, I think, 2 pedals that are probably made in the same place by exactly the same people
Yeah.
for the different brands. Yeah.
I think so too.
So what do you think about that? That these companies are making this pedal for so much less than the originals?
So I'm tempted as a musician to buy what I like best. That's my first thing. And then when I look behind the scenes, I have, of course, different criteria, or it's not actually criteria, it triggers different things. And I know that I always respect the original company with the original design, as they created something. And there, to me, lies a value. They created a value. And to get there, it's not a 5-minute job. It's like maybe you have to find the circuitry and you tweaked it, and maybe there's work of years that went into a Rat or into a clone or into a Nobels or whatever. No? And then somebody comes and says, oh, that's a nice one. Easy peasy. I just make a copy of that, and I make tons of money just because everybody wants that sound, and I can offer it for like no money or super low money. They take away the business from the originator. That's the thing that hurts. Thinking from a practical point of view, I have to admit that the sound is killer. And I would, assuming that the MOOER is actually, or would be the same PCB and exactly the same sound, if it would be, I would probably invest that $20, even though knowing that that switch is only $2 or whatever, because I can see that other switch break too easy. And then you have a hassle in my life, you know? Okay, other people, it's not so important for them, though, so they have that pedal, they have that tone, and they pay attention, but they don't gig with it, or they don't throw it in the back with 10 other pedals, and then one. No, it takes me 5 seconds to kill that switch. I can see it. You know, it's like I'm tempted to do that. I do stuff like that in the speaker episode. I'm thinking about how to kill speakers. Anyway, but so I'm considering thoughts like that as well. And yeah, if I have the choice, well, if I had to buy a Rat these days, I probably would go for that Harley Benton or that MOOER.
Let's plug the MOOER in and check it out. It's not 100% the same because it only has 2 modes on the switch.
Ah, okay.
And the Harley Benton has
Yeah.
3. And
Have one go then.
they may be slightly different. I mean, obviously Harley Benton is going for lowest possible price point ever, so they might have cut some more corners somewhere else.
Yeah.
Are we safe to unplug this, or is it going to pop or anything?
No,
Or- yeah, we're good?
now it's clean. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tricky thing about copying things. Since the red pedal has been out for so many years, for so many decades, and the company is hopefully has made some money with it that they deserve to make out of their design. Well, it's a thing that is more okay if compared to if somebody has a design and didn't make any money out of that and gets copied already. I
Yeah.
think that's terrible. I mean, has nothing to do with the quality of the end results and the product itself, but it's, you know, I respect intellectual property, and I understand how much time goes into that side of things, and I think that needs to be respected in a way.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, let's check the, where are we?
Go to the Harley Benton again.
Little less filter on the Harley Benton, just for made it also the old school way. Something good about a MOOER. What is this? Vintage turbo? Ah, it's the vintage
There's
turbo.
only two modes.
It's the typical. No, we have to go for the vintage. Now I'm convinced about a MOOER. It's like for me it has that extra warmth. And I put it that way. With the Strat, I would play the MOOER. With the Les Paul, I probably would like to play the Harley Benton.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my taste.
Interesting. Got a couple of comments saying let's try the MOOER on vintage mode against the big box Rat.
Yeah.
Before we move on, so let's just do that.
Yeah.
See what we get.
Okay, I get the noisy old school power. So.
That's the vintage Rat power supply.
So, my vintage red is the best. Simple as that. I know it's just 1%, but for me, the good thing emotionally is like we went through all the other things, and they're great. If I didn't have the comparison, but I don't have to buy a new pedal. But if I had to, I would end up with a MOOER. Now finally, after this is good. Unfortunately, the Proco product is not as good as they have done it in the past, and that's a shame. That's the thing when companies that created something don't get their own recipe right. It's like, huh? You should know, guys. No, what is it? If other companies can show it is possible, they should be able to do that.
Yeah, that is an interesting one.
Yeah.
It does seem like this newer Rat lost out just a little bit
Yeah.
in comparison.
Yeah.
And you would never notice if you just bought one and played it because it sounds amazing. But
Yeah.
when we're directly A/Bing it in this
Yeah.
environment, then you do think, okay,
Of course.
there's a small difference.
Yeah. So what we are doing is the nerdy, or I play the nerdy role here, and not everybody has the same approach, the same taste, and but at least I'm like one particular kind of guy that knows what he wants, and that's good to take decision. No, if somebody says, "Oh, I like that better. I like black or I like white," then you can decide. If everything is kind of, but for me, all these A/B comparisons is in the end a lot is also how you play and how you interact, because I kind of play into the pedal. I react to the pedal,
Yeah.
and then somebody else would do a different reaction, and that would create different results. So I'm just one example. Yeah, but at least you can hear the difference. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. I think you should do another episode purely on rats at some
Yeah.
point with someone else who has a big rat collection, and you can do a bunch of them.
You have done a pedal. Did you have a video on your channel about rats?
Yeah, I have. Well, I've done a bunch of videos about, I think, all of these pedals, and I have one where I compared 3 or 4 of the different ones, and I play a little loop on my looper, and I'm twisting the knobs on the pedals, and you can
Let's
hear
watch a couple of seconds of Rich's channels where he is testing it, because you have a different approach on testing, which is cool. Yeah, so this is on Rich's channel, and there's you have a lot of pedals that you demoed on your channel.
I do, too many.
Yeah. Before we are running out of time, we had to hurry up, and while we seeing the video, we changed over for Tube Screamer country, and I have an original 80s. This is a serial number for those who are into the nerdy stuff. 170087. I have no clear idea if this is the Holy Grail or if it's not the Holy Grail, but it's the my old Tube Screamer. And I have done a full video on comparing only the best Tube Screamer ever with number 1. Let's watch that video. Welcome to the world of vintage guitars. We actually heard 4 different Ibanez tube screamers. We had the magic 1980, TS-808 in 2 versions. We had a TS-9 and a TS-10, all at my feet. And the question is, if we're all trapped by confirmation bias, are we repeating the stuff that we hear and believe it, or can we still be neutral and have our own opinion? Well, let's find out. I will try to play as equally as possible and do my thing. Let's start with the real deal 1980 GRC chip equipped Holy Grail tube screamer. Same year, same product, same chip, same board. And now a TS-9. And back to the 1980. Well, is it different? Is it better? Is it worse? Well, you have to decide for yourself. And now I go for the TS-10. I think this one has a touch too much gain, and there's the difference. Let's check. Hey, to be honest, I think this much is the difference. And my personal opinion is maybe the TS10 has the least of that in it. And I like it. So there we go. Tube screamers. It's a delicate topic. I think the family of tube screamers all do the same thing. Does it really need to be the original old one? And it's the price difference is about 1,000 whatever euros, bucks, or you name it. For me, actually, it's not that important. Maybe it is for you. So I hope this could bring a little bit of light into that hot topic of the tube screamers. Enjoy. And Stevie Wonder was using two. Okay, this was all the vintage tube screamers that I could find at number one. And of course they have the original, the whatever it's called, the A board and the B board, and with the original chips and the Holy Grail, and they are expensive.
How expensive was the most expensive one?
I think 1,200 or 1,500.
1,200, okay.
So, yeah. I'm not exactly sure how mine fits in there, but I think it could be one of these expensive ones. It's an old one. It's not, nothing is modded. It's the real deal, and it sounds like a tube screamer. For me, sometimes these things are not as special as for other people because I've been around them, and when I bought them, they were cheap. It's the 60 one Strat that I bought for 2,300 Deutschmarks. Come on, you know, it's why? What's so special about it? It sounds good. That's why I bought it. But it's not like I had to sell the house to buy that guitar, which sometimes you have to do when you want a Les Paul. Yeah, we heard in the video, we heard the Holy Grail ones, and if you hear differences between the boards, you got ears. For me, it was not so big of a difference. Yeah, and here we have now one of those vintage Holy Grail ones and a lot of other stuff, including that super famous Bad Monkey.
Yeah, which is the most expensive of all of them right now.
I think that whole story is so great. But anyway, Joss, what's his name? Stone? No,
Scott.
Scott. Yeah, I think the guy is clever. We're talking about JHS pedals from Kansas or where?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he just chose a pedal that is ugly as hell. It's not special at all, and made it so famous, like the killer pedal. For me, I had such a good time when I heard about that story, because it tells me how much, well, emotion and maybe bullshit is associated with certain things and stories. And of course, I can have an easy emotion about that because I already own that stuff. I don't have to go online and buy it and hope that I get one, because it's always already sitting there.
Yeah.
By the way, the Bad Monkey is from a friend of mine, Marcus. I was never into that pedal, but let's try to do the Tube Screamer thing.
Is the Bad Monkey supposed to be a tube screamer? Because obviously Josh Scott proved that it can be anything you want it to be, but
I-
is that what they were going for? I mean,
Actually,
it's green, isn't it?
Yeah,
But
exactly. Actually, I don't know. It is green. It has a two-band tone control, which means bass and a low and highs, bass
Yeah.
and treble, which the standard tube screamer doesn't. And I don't I never had one. No? So let's find out. Let me explain why people use tube screamers first. If you have a Fender amp, uh, most of the time the Fender amps have a lot of no mids. There is not. So that's my Fender sound on the amp 1. Okay, like a clean niche, slightly on the edge of breakup Fender sound. It's the foundation for our comparison here. What a tube screamer does, the tube screamer has a roll off at 700 hertz. So anything lower than that kind of mids, lower mids, and is kind of reduced. So it cleans up the low end and it fills the mid range. So, and that's what we're getting from the tube screamer.
yeah.
Yeah. And the way most people use it is like not so much gain, more output volume to drive the amp a bit hotter. And so the gain, the overdrive of the tube screamer itself is rather boring, I believe. It's like it's very undynamic and very boring. So most people have the overdrive set to rather low.
Yeah.
So that's one way of using a tube screamer, which is the Stevie Ray Vaughan style blues. And if you have that kind of scooped mids from your amp, it's heaven to get the mids back for a balanced tone.
Yeah.
And that's why it's a classic combination with Fender amps. On the other hand, if I switch to overdrive and I have, that's my vintage channel. Okay, yeah, well, the power supply. It's a little noisy, but anyway. So this is like a Marshall-esque sound that we just heard. And now the tube screamer gives me that mid push, like a mid boost. Listen. That's actually the reason why I bought the tube screamer first, because I wanted to have a humbucker sound with my single coils. Uh-huh. And that's kind of that mid boost, which I used. But let's be in the territory where most people want to hear it. It's kind of the blues sound.
Yeah.
Fender.
Okay. And because everybody loves that sound,
Yeah.
everybody has made that version of the pedal,
Right.
including Ibanez, who now make the Tube Screamer Mini.
Yeah, and they have even versions of high-end. Was it like handcrafted or what a point-to-point soldering
Yeah.
and some other esoteric, fantastic ways of making people buy more tube screamers for more money.
They have loads. They even sell an amp with a Tube Screamer built in somehow.
Yeah, and
You've
that
seen
sucks
Yeah.
totally to me. To be honest, it's a marketing decision from a company that says, we are Tube Screamer. It's like there's the marketing department that says, what's our most successful product? Well, the Tube Screamer. Have we been successful with amps? No. Let's put the Tube Screamer in the amp and we will be successful. No. It's my answer, because it's not that simple, At the end, musicians judge about the amp, and that amp, I played it once and I thought, useless. Sorry, I'm very brutal here, but it's like, I understand that concept from the marketing side, but not from a musician's point of view. If that would have been a Fender amp, at least with that kind of quality, but it was kind of a very faint, boring, clean amp, and then adding some honky mid-range on top of some boring... no, there was nothing that excited me, so no taste for me.
No? Okay.
It's like the company could be called No Tone or Shit Tone. Anyway. Back to the Tube Screamer. So this was the Tube Screamer, and this is without... Okay, so we have a lot of exciting boost coming from it to drive the amp a bit harder.
Yep.
It's not the overdrive from the Tube Screamer. It's just the output volume that gives a bit more drive from the amp.
Yeah.
And then the rest is the magic frequency, mid-range characteristics. Let's go for the next one.
Yeah, so we've got the Tube Screamer Mini set up to replicate the same knob settings.
Yep.
Let's see how similar it is.
Yeah.
That's stacked.
Can we hear the same on the other one? I'm back for the order. If I would need money, I can sell this one and live with the other one.
Yeah, I mean, these ones are under $100.
Yeah.
And percentage-wise, tonal difference? Is it similar to the Rat, kind of your extra?
It's even closer. For me, it's even closer. If you hear more, fine for you guys, but I would be happy with this one as well.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what...
Yeah, I mean, this is... I don't even know what this costs. 20, 30 euros or something like that?
It's the lowest...
Very, very cheap.
Yeah. Okay,
the Behringer.
also very similar.
Yeah.
I hear a touch more high end. Maybe we can close the tone a bit to come closer. But in the end, I could even live with that.
Yeah. Would you have this one on stage, seeing as it's made of plastic?
Um,
It doesn't feel as robust as the others, let's put it that way.
Well, let's put it that way. If I had a pedal switcher and wouldn't use that built-in switch, which actually works, I don't have the knob or switch problem with, I would destroy it. So if I would put that in a loop of my pedal switcher, I could live with it. And then I would get rid of the bottom plate, because once you remove that, you save so much weight. The plastic housing and the circuitry weighs nothing. So this is the way how to get the lightest tube screamer ever.
Yep.
Just remove that plate and use the screws and mount it maybe from underneath your pedal board. And it's, for me, it's still a tube screamer. Now I hear a difference. The old one has a certain warmth. It's like, wow. And maybe we can take off some of my dust of that warm sounding Strat, put it on that vintage tube overdrive T800, and we come closer. I don't know. It's a touch warmer, that one. But hey, yeah, I can definitely live with any of these pedals.
Yeah, for sure. So what's this one? The Rodenberg GAS 808.
Yeah,
That's
this-
another kind of tube screamer model,
Yeah,
right?
there's something he built for me.
Oh yeah, your
Thomas-
name is engraved on it there, yeah.
Yeah. So that pedal is like tube screamer based, but has the option of dialing in some bass. Well, first we can hear it as comparison to a classic tube screamer like this one. So to me, it does the trick. Now, when I use this in overdrive mode, I have the option to reduce that low cut.
Yep.
I was talking at the beginning to have a bit more low end, and it's a bit more flexible. And by the way, there have been other designs around, like the MXR, Zach Wild's. I think that's also a modified tube screamer. Yeah, for me, the magic lies in the overdrive here. So gives me a little bit of that fluffiness in the low end if I want that. So maybe you don't want it. I kind of love it sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's like a tube screamer but with an extra option, kind of like the Bad Monkey.
of course, which wins them all.
It does.
Okay, Let's hear the clean. Did we hear the? Yeah, we. Hear.
This is your
My
pedal.
Okay, and this just to get used to this classic.
Yeah.
So, and this was, it's my original.
Still on the classic.
Yeah. Huh?
They're all tube screamers.
Yeah, they are all green and they all sound so green. And even the Rodenberg can do the thing if you find the right setting.
Yeah.
And here I'm a very sensitive player in a way that if it would feel different, I would notice immediately and I would complain about this one is not as good as the other one.
Yeah.
And they are all the same. So I don't get that super hype on that pedal, to be honest.
But you'd still pick this one?
Because I have it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And it's like, I have it and you don't. But if I wouldn't have it, I could live with any of the other pedals. I mean, yeah. I have it, maybe there's a touch warmth and it's okay, blah, blah, blah. But I would never pay that crazy money for it. No? For me, there's a certain limit on products. Like there's a guitar, anything higher than, I don't know, it needs to be a collector vintage extra crate kind of thing. And then I stop at 10,000. I don't go for the 100,000 euros or dollar guitars. That's, you couldn't play that. And if I had a tube screamer for 1,500 to gig with, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's not my concept anyway. So,
but what's really interesting is that you could take this one,
yeah,
the Tube Screamer Mini,
yeah,
and the MOOER Rat, the Black Secret from before,
yeah,
and for
be happy.
less than $100,
Yeah.
you're good.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
So for me, that's absolutely okay. You know, just guys, relax. I know all these hot discussions about it needs to be blah, 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 blah. And my opinion on this topic, it's okay what we have here on the table. For me, it would be okay.
Yeah.
If you can tell and show me the difference, I would love to invite you so we can all, hey, if somebody out there in the universe, bring your own Magic Fender amp and set it to the Magic settings, and then we do the same thing and you show me the difference and why maybe this pedal is actually better than another one or yours is better than mine. We can learn from it.
And then you can do the famous blind test.
Yeah. Well,
And then your ears guide you 100% of the way. Yeah.
yeah. What's going on in the chat? There's tons of things. Or let's maybe we can move on to. There's so many other things. here is let's talk about that the clone Centaur, and that's another crazy pedal. I had the pleasure, to play an original clone, and I had the pleasure to play an original clone copy, and to be honest, yeah, it was pretty damn similar as well. There's a little video with Captain Guitar Lounge near Munich, Fürstenfeldbruck, because Captain has an original clone. I mean, a Holy Grail clone. So you can listen to that video and see how that expensive, noisy pedal sounds. And we change over for what other pedals do we have?
ODR-1?
Yeah, let's do the Nobels thing next. So let's watch that video and we change over. 1, 2, 3, 4, go. So this is the real deal. This is a clone Centaur. We're talking not a copy. This is the Holy Grail. I don't know how expensive it is. At least the number is fucking expensive for a pedal. So it has a battery inside. Let's go and simply put it in line with my pedals in front of the whole rig. And then we have a bypass. Oh, so this one is already noisy, but I'm using this currently in front of my vintage channel, which is already gainy. So this is my sound. Okay, I like it, but it's noisy, okay? So if it wouldn't be that expensive, maybe I would buy it. But that's a... okay, let's listen to the whole thing in front of a clean amp. Definitely a mid hump.
That's how it used to be.
The mid hump is nice when I push the mids into my overdrive sound. This is something that I personally like, but... This is kind of the saturation I get from the clone itself. Low output means I don't drive my amp hot, so this is kind of saturation from the pedal. Okay, I kind of like to drive the amp a bit and use that on top. Okay, I buy it. Although it's noisy, but I like it, okay? It's my first clone experience since years, and that's actually convincing. I wouldn't pay that much money for it, but it's a good pedal.
I don't sell it anyway.
Anyway, okay. Lucky one. Cheers. Yeah, this was the original clone. There is another little snippet that I want to show you about that new clone from the same company. It's the red, what is it called?
The KTR.
KTR.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the Pedalicious channel, where I have done tons of pedal demos, Pedalicious. Yeah, watch that and then we go into something else. But hey, watch it. Yeah. So, what do you think? Any comments on that clone? I mean, it's a great pedal, and I do understand why people like it. On the other hand, it's overhyped. Just
We
in
were
my
we were talking about JHS earlier, and also about marketing. Have you seen their not a clone pedal?
yeah
Or not a clone?
the IKEA style, build your own pedal, be proud of being a pedal designer. Uh, Spend the weekend and create some yeah, have fun building pedals, or maybe spend the time with a new experience that your skills are not so good, but it's IKEA level.
It's a super cool idea. Did
Yeah.
anybody watching buy that pedal? Because I'm quite interested
Yeah,
to maybe get one. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think the aspect of building your own pedal makes even a deeper connection to that pedal. You know, it will be special because the rest you simply bought finished out of the box, and somebody else did it for you. But if you kind of laid your hands on that, and then it's like, yeah, I put that screw in, and that makes a difference.
And that's almost the cleverest thing from JHS. It's like they make you build the pedal for yourself.
Yeah.
So
We-
they save on the labor costs.
Well, the pedal labor cost in China for one of those 20 euro pedals is probably $1.
Yeah, it's not a lot. But they've sold 13,000 of those pedals already.
Oh, they-
13,000. So
Yeah.
they've saved $13,000.
$13,000.
So there you go. Yeah, yeah.
And they made even more money because how much is that kit? Do you know?
$99.
Okay, and I can openly talk about what's the cost of something like that. If it touches $10, we are pretty realistic as a kit, because you know there are knobs which are standard. There's standard housings. There is no big R&D costs because it's a clone. You know, so all you take is the existing things, put them together, source them at low price, and make a lot of profit. Clever Josh.
He knows what he's doing. And it will be really interesting to see if other companies now start making build your own pedals. Because it's obviously a trend that guitar players like. But it's like, where does it end?
Well, that's a good question. I mean,
Would you ever offer a build your own amp one kit?
No, because it would not work. It would be way too advanced to do it.
Yeah.
And guys, this is something I sometimes don't understand when people think about amp one. Yeah, it looks so easy. It's 960 components until everything is in the box, including all the screws, including all the resistors, all the transistors, all the parts. It's like so many parts, and they all have to be in the right place. They have to have the right function. They have blah blah blah. That's a very sophisticated product, even though it looks like just easy. It has a switch and it lights up when I push the button. There's much more to it, and of course people believe the tube does everything, and when the tube fails, which actually does not happen, we have 2 exceptions for that, but all the rest is working. People assume certain things, but it's like, forget it. You could not build that. Even if I would give the schematics to some radio technician, they would go, what's going on here? Of course they know how to do certain things, but they would not even understand the whole thing. Versus a pedal is usually a way simpler schematic. It's usually a lot less components, and thereby, you know, everybody builds their own fuzz pedals because they are like not much. That was the first trend. Now with the pre-assembled PCB with all the fiddly, tricky bits, you simply mount them in your housing, and hopefully you don't kill any of these tiny things. But it's like, yeah, it's a very clever move. I don't know where it ends. IKEA, probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And I believe to set up a IKEA furniture, like one of these, you know, here the shelves that we have here, that's probably harder than assembling a JHS pedal, you know, one of these, because it goes this way and that way. I have set 3 of these here, one on this side, one on the other side, one in the next room. So this is like takes me probably 25 minutes each of these. A JHS pedal 5. So for me the thrill is gone in 5 minutes. But I think for other people it's fun, which is totally understandable.
Yeah,
It's cool. It's cool. I mean, yeah. And of course the guys deserve to make some money because it's cool. No? Being cool is part of the game.
It is indeed. Hence why the gold sparkle ODR-1 is one of the coolest pedals out there right now.
Yeah, because it's gold sparkle.
Yeah.
It's not only sparkle, it's gold sparkle. And yeah, and they also deserve something because the ODR-1 also has a story. And the ODR-1 story is not only the guy who designed it. I mean, Nobels is a German company, and the guy that designed it is a German. And you know, this pedal made it to the US and then became a classic in the Nashville scene, because it did something that people liked.
Yeah.
And I have been in contact with the guys, so I know them very well, and so I know a bit about the background story. So when they've done the gold one, they were looking back at the very early production ones.
Yeah.
And of course there are tolerances, so they all sound a bit different. It's just like these old tube amps, those old Marshalls or Fenders, and so they had to choose one that they thought was the best out of, I think, 4, and they took that as a reference for the production of that gold.
Okay, so this one, which is the 30th anniversary edition of the pedal, it's 30 years old. There's 5,000 of these, so it's kind of limited, I think. And this was based on their favorite, one of the
Right.
original old 90s ODR-1s.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
Hello,
So how does
Sandy
it sound?
Bunny. Well, switch it on. So this is the amp here. This is a middle position on the pedal now.
Yeah.
So let me do the trick,
Yeah.
how I would use the
Yeah.
pedal.
Okay.
We can use the middle position just for fun to switch through all the 3 pedals.
Yeah, okay.
And see if there is, if we hear a difference there, and then I will dial something in which is more musical with the pedal.
Okay. This is the 30th anniversary
Yeah.
one. This is the standard ODR-1, which is a bass cut edition. It has
Yep.
a little switch inside to
Yeah.
cut the bass out. This is the ODR
Mini.
And this one here is the ODR-S, which is a slightly different
It's
concept,
a
right?
different
Yeah.
concept.
Okay, let's hear the
listen.
3 ODRs.
definitely it's about the bass.
Yeah.
No?
It seemed to be more bass the
The
greener
further-
and the smaller the pedal got. Yeah.
And well, what is happening with bass? More or less bass means you have more clarity, so to speak. So what I will do next is I will put the level up a touch and use that to boost or drive the amp. The amp bypass, so it's clean, but it's on the edge of breakup again. So, and now I have some drive of that Nobels, and I use a bit more output to drive the amp.
So I was fiddling with the bass controls there. This one has a little bass cut switch inside.
Right.
So I've put the bass on that one, and this one has a bass cut control, so you can always take in or take out as much bass as you want. Yeah, so that's full bass, and this one always has full bass.
Yeah.
And they're a lot more similar sounding now, but this one still has a lot more low end than the others, I would say.
Right.
Is that maybe why the Nashville guys like it? Because they play tellies predominantly, and they like an extra boost of low end?
I don't think that is that extra boost of low end. I rather see it as it's a deduction of low end. And this golden one is probably the most flexible one when it comes to that. So I can be in that natural low end to the skinnier one, and that's kind of a quality. On the other hand, what is the quality of the pedal? I believe it's a natural sounding pedal, and the biggest thing that I like about a pedal is what they call the spectrum control. It's a tone control which is way more sophisticated than like what we see on a tube screamer. The tube screamer is a bloody easy high-end roll-off. And this, listen, I have to show you. So, bypass, clean, okay. I can go and have the drive very low, the output high. Now I can tighten it up. Sorry. So this is to me is like a clean boost with a nice, very musical EQ setting. I could have more bass, like this. So it's like more rock, and this is less bass, is more country. So it gives me that hot, slightly overdriven sound.
Yeah.
Okay, and just to show you how flexible it is, that's kind of a weapon. Just the opposite. Give it full drive. Get a little. Listen to the spectrum, and that's. This is the most flexible one tone control I know. And that's my kudos to that design of that pedal.
Yeah. So what exactly is it doing differently to a tube screamer?
It adds, it changes from a mid-focused sound on the left, which is like here. See, there's no high end, there is just smoothness. It's kind of no bass, no highs, just warm, lukewarm mids. Okay. By itself it sounds boring, but if I use this now in my overdrive channel, so if you have one of those with you, you can have that pedal used for many jobs. No? It could be the mid boost. I reduced even the low end here and tightened it up. So it's a, I would call this like a tone adapter almost. It's like, here's my guitar and I have one pedal and I can dial it in. And to me, the next magic happens. I go back for the spectrum, the tone. Like in about the middle, it sounds like an amp. Like, I mean, to the left, it sounds like something you would not like to hear by itself as it is. It is doing a job like a mid boost in combination with an amp. So, and now here, bypass. Cleans up. I have a little less, not with a bit more low end. Now the trick is to get my amp one just a touch more into overdrive. So this is kind of the one side of the overdrive into the other. That's gain stacking. And it's easy to dial it back on this drive and get more of the output for the amp. Sounds like an expensive amp to me. And then that's the spectrum kind of in the middle. No? That's that range. And then the more I crank it, the more aggressive it gets. You would call it scooped mids, but it's actually... That's the trick about the Spectrum. The mids is not only scooped, and that they changed the they changed the mids, they changed the highs, and that's beautiful. Other tone stacks just scoop one frequency or just get rid of the highs, and this is doing like 3 elements in one control. So that's why. See how aggressive that is. Okay, I bring down the volume a bit here. I could easily use a Les Paul now, and that's a very, very flexible musical pedal and German engineering. Sorry, guys. You wish you had that. Okay, yeah. Comparing the pedals, they all do the same thing. They're slightly... I think the golden one is the most versatile out of the 3. So I'm happy with this one. But the other ones are cool too.
Yeah.
And the ODR-S is a different pedal. That's my Marshall. Let's put it that way. If I have to go somewhere and have any amp and I need my Marshall tone, that pedal gets me there because it has a 3-band EQ. It has a bit more gain. I show you. So bypass. This one. This is gainier and it's a bit more Marshall-less. This is why I have that pedal.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But they are great. I like them.
Yeah, me too. One thing we don't have is any like clone of the ODR-1. There are definitely pedals out there that have, you know, the same basic circuit in them, but do you own any of them?
No, because
No.
that's mine, I think. Did you bring it or is this mine?
I think, yeah, this one's yours.
That's mine.
Yeah.
And that's mine.
That's yours, and that's mine.
And this is Nobels.
Is-
or maybe
yeah.
mine, I don't know.
Yeah.
We can fight for it.
We gotta,
Sandy, if you're listening, me or him, you throw a coin. Who can keep it? I like it. No, anyway. And hey, just for fun, can you put the bad monkey in?
instead of this one.
Yeah,
okay.
because that's different.
Yeah.
The bad monkey is the best pedals of them all. Killer.
Well, the bad monkey can do everything, but can it do the ODR-1? That's
Yes, that's
the
the magic.
the killer test. Yeah.
Okay, now we put it to the test.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a bad pedal, huh?
It seems like the bad monkey really can do everything.
Maybe Josh is a genius.
There's a question in the comments at the moment
Yeah,
asking
please.
about whether the ODR-1 might appear in the Amp X. And I'm going to throw it out there, is the bad monkey going to appear in the Amp X?
Well, yes, yes, and maybe yes. I'm ODR-1, yes. We worked on that already, and we get somewhere. Yeah, and this is why I understand the pedal even from a deeper. I can hear it, and I also have measured the pedal, and I have seen the curves, and it's outstanding. It's outstanding because it's only one control that does a lot. That challenges us, but we took it as a challenge. Other pedals are way easier to mimic or reproduce on the MX. In the Bad Monkey, I don't see any obstacles not having that, since it's so good. Well, it is good. It's not that bad.
Well, so far it's met every challenge that you've tested it in. So
Yeah, okay. Let's put the final challenge. Do we have some time? Quick one.
yeah, what's the last challenge?
We have a few options here. We have the new X65 Timmy. That's kind of your thing. I would have the Zia Drive Durham Dumble kind of things. But whatever. And pedals are endless. We can go on for the next days, weeks.
So
with just the stuff that is here laying around.
So let's put a few of these transparent overdrive pedals together on a board then.
So
And we'll finish with that.
I think so.
Can you unplug the
I
amp horn?
unplugged. So, Lucas, we have no video left, right? Timmy.
And rotary.
Yeah, well then let's show Rich Timmy video. Or in the meantime, I have an idea. While you set up this one, I show you. Where's it? Here. I show you the Pedalicious channel. Because if you go on YouTube, you will find tons of pedals demos that I have done with the Amp 1. Is it there? Okay. So this was recorded in summer '69, maybe not. And this channel, Pedalicious, is all about pedals. Just check out some of them. I show you this one here. I don't know what it is. Bingo, play. How does it play? Where's the play button? No, nothing works. What's going on here? Hello. 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 So we are back.
Was that all just the bad monkey every time?
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
Because the bad monkey does it all.
Okay.
No, what I'm trying to tell you guys is I have done, I think, on Pedalicious is 61 episodes, all with killer pedals from different brands, different types, time-based effects, tons of fuzzes and stuff. And especially for the AMP1 users, it's all with AMP1 settings, being it a clean or overdrive setting. So you can hear me demoing tons of different pedals on Pedalicious. And maybe if you think about a certain pedal, you can at least hear what I have done with it. Yeah, it's not outdated. It's still, you know, like the pedals. They exist, and they will do a brilliant job. And so 61 episodes. If you have a depression in wintertime, watch me in summer demoing pedals.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you had done the changeover. If works, we didn't have to check. Okay, let me see. Okay, signal is
works.
there. That's good.
And here we have 5 iconic transparent overdrives, to use a buzzword. The ODR-1 30th edition, we kept that on.
Ah.
The Paul Cochran Timmy,
Yeah.
which is a very famous one.
Yeah.
The new X65,
Wow.
which is pretty new.
And very affordable.
Yeah, it's a very cheap one, like 50,
Yeah.
60 bucks. And this is based on the Vemoram Genre, which itself is based on the Timmy. Yeah. Then we have this is
Desire Drive.
the Desire Drive, which
is one of my transparent. It's actually somebody told me it's a Dumble-esque sound.
yeah.
I bought it because I like it. By the way, this was one of the results of making Pedalicious. I demoed all the pedals and I ended up buying too many pedals. Can you show that red electro, that tube pedal?
This one.
Yeah, that's another example of me demoing pedals. The Fire Bottle from Effect Road UK. That's also with a nano tube, kind of a sub-miniature tube, but a different type from what we are using. That's one of the pedals. When I demoed the pedal, I had to keep it. It's like, how much is it? And I bought it because it's so good. But that's a booster pedal. It's just basically it's a clean boost, but it's a good one. Anyway, so doing gear demos is a two-way street. One is you produce content, and the other thing is you end up buying more pedals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're great. Okay. So this is my clean tone. hard. So, there you have it. What would be your comment? I have an opinion, and about, of course, these pedals are not exactly the same. We are using all the pedals as low gain or transparent overdrives.
Yeah.
And how would you describe what you hear?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say, to me, they all sound a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And I have pluses and negatives for all of them in my head.
Right.
One thing which I have to say is that the Timmy does something for me,
Yeah.
which my other favorite overdrive, the Grail Lightspeed, always does.
Yeah.
No matter how I set that pedal, or no matter what I'm playing, whatever guitar or amp I'm using,
It put us in the right focus.
it makes me sound better.
Yeah.
And I always notice that with the Timmy as well.
Yeah.
So those are my two favorite pedals in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I've only recently tried this 30th
Anniversary.
Nobles, which is also great. I've never really tried this one.
Yeah,
this is maybe less my thing, but when you turn it back to be transparent, it does that thing. And the Bad Monkey is all the rest of them in one pedal. But yeah, I mean, I think the New X is fantastic as well.
Yeah.
Because this is so cheap in comparison, and it has a bit more oomph compared to the Timmy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone mentions in the comments, New X describe it as a blackface amp in a box.
Yeah.
And
I mean, what it does. There's a definitely a mid to it, a mid honk in a way.
Yeah.
Depending on what you want, it's a great thing because it makes the tone fuller. No. This is more neutral. This is more like the amp sounds plus something, and this is to me like I would use it as a solo boost for like. Hello. For me, the chords sound better on like this. No, and this is like. It's already too full and too busy frequency-wise, but for a solo. So there's a certain mid-range. That Sire drive doesn't have that mid-range too, but. I bought it because it's kind of the edge of breakup in a nice way without any frequency messing, which the Bad Monkey does. Just, is it on? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this, in this kind of category, the Bad Monkey loses. Monkey, go home. Yeah, and the Timmy wins. I tell you what I like about the Timmy. It has a very dynamic response, and it has a nice clarity. So. If I give it a bit more volume to cheat and have the amp doing additionally stuff to that, it will be great. for me, this kind of pedal puts everything in this kind of break up clean sound at the right place. Yeah, it adds a little bit of compression, but if it's driving the amp, you get some dynamic of the explosion of the drive here, and then if everything comes together at the right setting, yeah, you get somewhere magic. That's why people, I guess, love it.
Yeah. Yeah, the Timmy it's the modern classic.
Can you have the light speed instead of the Bad Monkey? Because
Yep.
you say it makes you sound better.
The light speed is also based on the Timmy pedal, and
I just bought it because I liked the light speed for the reason that it can be set like almost 1-to-1, like same sound, same frequency. It's subtle, but you can, for me, I bought it because I can kind of tweak the guitar very close to where the original sound is, and just give it more from that perspective. Some pedals, when you switch them on, they already shift the frequencies and stuff too much, and that was the key factor why I like the light speed.
yeah,
And then, of course, having the options to get a little bit more, whatever, highs or a little bit hotter signal, a bit more boost or a bit drive.
yeah.
A touch.
But that's that transparent thing, and it's like one of the comments from Paul says there. If you like your amp, the Timmy is a must.
Yeah.
Because these pedals, they give you a bit more, but they don't take away from the character of the rest of your setup.
Yeah.
You know, you can make them change that character, but they don't have to do that. They're transparent in that sense.
Yeah. And of course, there's a whole world out there of pedals that mimic amps. And for me, that's also okay. But here's the thing. That's good comment. If you like your amp, I think usually the holy grail tone for me is a good amp with a matching pedal. And it's not a amp with a good pedal. Because just for instance, a lot of Fender players have a great sounding pedal that makes the Fender into a gain monster. Like, where's my Friedman, something like that. That kind of pedal brings any clean sounding amp into the territory of high gain. Like, that's the preamp or the amp character as much as possible in the pedal. But if you have a real amp that does that character, it's better. And so this is like a workhorse thing, brilliant for people that play that clean amp pedal platform and have that. But for me, it's not good enough. I rather have the real amp and then tweak it with the pedal.
Yeah.
So that's my game. Of course, different people, different approaches, but my approach, because I tried that in the studio, and that was always the reference. When you record a guitar in a track, and the track sounds like everybody goes, yeah, that guitar sound, it's like huge. We love your sound. You get featured more. And if the sound of the pedal goes through an amp that is meant to be something else, and the pedal gives you the wannabe character, you end up not too loud in the mix. And so this is where I learned I rather have different amps and pedals to tweak my best amps. That was my winner concept.
Mm-hmm.
And I still believe in that, and that's why I make rather different amp channels, which is harder to set in volume and match the different tones, but the result is better. And my approach with like a 4-channel amp like the Amp 1 is to get the different character of the channels, but then match them so that they are seamlessly overlapping in from clean to high gain. And when I play live, I sometimes switch and people don't notice the switching because I try to keep the same frequencies. No, and just get it. There's not like, ooh, now he's on a totally, now he plays death metal and now he plays funky clean and the next song. That was never my approach. I was trying to get a tonal palette from super clean to super high gain, but without any gaps and with the highest quality. And therefore, channels and a boost was the key thing. And of course, this is only one boost. And this, for me, would be transparent overdrive. Well, this boost actually is a transparent overdrive as well, because I can show you. Sorry, I'm on bypass. So everything. When I put the clean volume down like this, there is no overdrive. So when I put the boost on, and some dirt, no? Versus I can turn the boost down. So, and that's basically the game now. To dial a touch more here. Gain stacking, but just with a tiny bit, and then that's even better. You add a Timmy on top of that with the boost. First without the boost, where's the bass? The gain. At this point, I have clipping here, I have clipping here, and I have clipping here. And for me, that's the magic when you tweak it to be kind of different, but comes together, and then it's like most musically dynamic. So, and I love these pedals. Look at look at this room. So full of overdrive, transparent, and boosters. Well, booster basically is the same thing without having too much overdrive, and they all have some drive. There's zero is not possible, and so a little bit of drive here, a little bit of drive there, that creates the magic tones to me.
So if you could only take one pedal that we've played tonight with you and use it with Amp 1 at your next gig or whatever, which one would you choose?
Wow.
And would it be a clone?
No, it will not. It's well, the clone actually, we didn't have it here. The clone could be one of those. Did we have? Probably the Timmy or the ODR-1. Maybe. See, as I have the Amp 1, the ODR-1 offers stuff that would be desperately needed if I had a Fender amp. If I would be a Nashville guy with a Fender amp, that would be my pedal.
Yeah.
Because it gives me so much more out of that platform. Okay, now having a more versatile amp, probably the Timmy is the pedal, because I bought these just as a special, slightly little bit here and blah, blah, blah. But let me show you the Timmy. There's one thing about the quality of the Timmy, to me, it sounds so amp-like. It, as the guy said in the chat, if you like your amp, you like it even more with that. And that's... And it cleans up. So that's the winner of tonight. For me.
Well, I'll always take a Timmy. So
Okay.
the Timmy wins, I guess. Second place, honourable mention to
the
the Bad Monkey. Yeah.
To the green frog. So, the Bad Monkey ate a green frog, and now it's what is it called? The color. It's green sparkle. It's a car color. How you call that color?
Oh, you're not talking about racing green, right?
Yeah,
British racing green.
it's racing green, but in a way tweaked with this. Wie heißt denn das? I don't even know the German word anymore. It's like our blue box. It has silver in it.
Candy apple?
Yeah, kind of. This is candy apple green, but it's so green. It's sour. Okay, guys. Do we have any questions here? Of course, we can do more pedal episodes on other pedals. We didn't have any phaser. We didn't have any delays, and it's endless. But I think what we could show is there is a beauty in pedals. I make the point that it does not need to be the most expensive boutique stuff ever. Being somebody who owns some of that stuff, and I try to demystify certain things because there's too much blah blah and not the right value behind it. On the other hand, I'm practical, and I would choose some of the smaller pedals these days. They didn't exist when the Holy Grail originals came out,
Yeah.
and therefore, if I wanted the Tube Screamer on my tiny board, I probably would use one of those smaller ones.
Yeah.
And they're good. They're all good. There's no reason why not using one of those modern ones, and just believing I'm not Stevie Ray Vaughan. You will never be Stevie Ray Vaughan because he used two. That's the trick. And it's the guy, it's in the fingers, it's the energy, it's the person. You get a similar sound with stuff that is affordable. So that's my point. Anything you learned from this?
No. Actually, I keep coming back to it, but I learned that this pedal is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And I also learned that it's something that I knew before, really, but just comparing the newer pedals with the older ones, there are differences between them. Some of them will sound better to you than others, but at the end of the day, if you're playing a gig or if you're in a mix, they're all kind of similar. And I think that if a pedal inspires you, if it costs $20 or 200 or even 2,000 and you've got the money for it and it makes you play better and enjoy making music, then that's the right pedal for you.
Exactly. For me, in the end, it's an emotional thing. And if you feel better playing it or owning it even, if you are proud, like, wow, and this is the emotion, that's the energy, and you can hear that in your playing, it's good, even if it's only placebo, And by the way, Digitech had a full series back in the days with great pedals like this reverb or delay looper. I have the reverb as well. In the reverb somewhere, I don't know. Do you?
I think it's this one.
Yeah, there's the real lexicon chip you know, here, boom, Lexicon, wow. Because it was a Harman company that bought Lexicon and Digitech, and then they could
Yeah.
put that in there. And these pedals were totally underrated for years. And they are actually pretty good quality. And the funny thing is, can you have that tube screamer, the Behringer, the cheap one? See where they were stealing the idea for their foot switch housing in plastic, cheapest plastic. That's the way to do it. And it's the same. Okay, I hope it will survive. So this is the compartment for the battery. And look at this, and look at this. It's the same mechanical idea. So Behringer stole it again. Oops. Well, maybe I fix it tomorrow. Okie doke. Yeah. And the other point I wanted to make is watch Rich channel with even more pedal demos. Get inspired about what you hear on his channel, differences from this point of view. And there's always many aspects, many different, you know, I do my thing, you do your thing. Everybody is slightly different. And it's so hard to be objective because it's subjective in a way.
Yeah.
And when I sometimes show somebody an amp 1 and I do my thing and it sounds so good, and then I hand the whole thing over to somebody and I'm like, oh, okay. Then suddenly I feel like I have to change 5-6 things. And just by change the same gear, it's like maybe my guitar or whatever, or his guitar and I play it. And then the moment somebody else touches the instruments, the strings, you have to readjust. And the world is different. And that's okay, because this is how we are. And I'm just happy if products somehow can meet that point that people connect to the instrument. And I try to help people on the one side with the products that have the options, and on the other hand, hopefully with our BluGuitar knowledge base and sound samples and settings examples to get you somewhere. And then in the end, the last step you have to do by yourself, because this is, you know, even if I have like here one of those you know, soundboards you put on your amp 1, and then you have whatever it's called, ZZ Texas Stevie, no, you put it here and it looks like, okay, setting here. In the end you have to, that's the first step that guides you in the zone, and then the next step is up to you and the instrument and the setup of the instrument. So many complex things, and nobody could give you 100% guidance to anything unless the sound is so undynamic that no matter what you put in there, if it's a Strat, an active high gain metal guitar would actually sound the same. And that's the trap of presets. If the presets are too much the same, they are not musical in a way. They are just presets. You can play a synthesizer. Sometimes that's also okay. But I think, to me, the magic in playing the guitar is dynamic tones to express yourself with a certain dynamic, with certain voice, with and go in the interaction with yourself and the instrument and what you hear. And then if there's nothing happening on the sound, just whatever you put in is always that's only okay for a minute, then it's getting boring. And therefore, by nature, presets with that kind of dynamic have to be adjusted to your dynamic.
Yeah.
So otherwise, no. If you have a horse, you have to learn how to ride the horse, and the horse has to learn how to ride with you. I'm not a good horse rider, but that's that. It's so important, and you have to have the patience to get there, and then you can enjoy the horse ride. You know, it's like, oh, finally the thing, or that cool animal does what I want, and then it's even more. You know, it's like, I had that experience on the horseback. It's like, you do something and come on, the horse, I don't want to, and then suddenly, wow, this was like 500 horsepowers, and I had only one horse, and I enjoyed it so much because the interaction happened, and it was giving me even more than I expected. And this is music. This is the guitar tone. It's always, it never ends. And it's like, no, I wish I would have more time to play. It's always the same. Cool. Treble bleed circuit. This is, we have tons of these topics also here on the Academy of Tone. I was revisiting, I think, episode 1, 2, or 3, and the treble bleed is, I think, episode 2 of the very early ones. I know it's too much material, but sometimes if you wanted to go back, look for it. Yeah, important topic, treble bleed. Okay, any more comments? That's why I did more to okay. SD1 direction. Yeah, okay. Hey, this is the boutique pedals came along because of tweaking the standard pedals. Most of that high-end stuff was not invented by the boutique companies. And by the way, the same with the amplifiers. If you buy a Dumble amp, it's a modded Fender. No? And there's a starting point. And even Fender didn't invent the guitar amp. They took a radio schematics from before and tweaked it. So it's tweaking on top of tweaking on top of tweaking. And yeah, the money issue is always it depends on your budget. The most professional guitar players, they don't even have the budget to buy the expensive gear. And they are happy to play with one of those Behringer tube screamers, and they will kill anybody with this, because a real player with a shitty pedal, maybe it's not even shitty, is still better than a shitty player with a real pedal. So that's my preaching for practice. Don't talk, just play.
Yeah.
We talk a lot, but it's fun. Okie dokes. Yeah, it was a real big pleasure to have you back for this episode. Yeah, there's more pedals. Maybe next year, if you have some time. I guess we will see each other at the NAMM.
Yep, in January this time.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Me too. A bit warmer than nowadays here in Germany.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah. There's a lot of things going on until then. You will see this all here. Next week, I might have a very young killer guitar player in the house. Let's see. So I'm looking forward. Or was it Manuel? I don't know. I forgot about it. There's too many episodes.
He's also young and a very good player. So
yeah, I only know that the song that he wanted to play, I haven't listened. I only listened to it once. It's like, man, I have to practice. Why do I do this? But
that's why I offer you AC/DC every time.
Thanks, Rich.
It's easy and it's good.
It took me, I mean, of course, I kind of played that song, but never had it on the set list. Like, really play the song in the full length, but everybody knows the riff. And it took me 5 minutes to do something similar, which is so relaxing. And it's fun. It's actually, and that's a raw, dynamic experience, that guitar tone. And for me, there's a lot of magic there. And this is the thing about these pedals as well.
Yep.
Yo, so thanks guys for joining in. Thanks, Rich. Take care. Watch his channel. Watch Pedalicious if you want to listen to more different pedals. And see you guys next time, next week, same place, same time. Cheers.